Do you mind if I sit? Give me a second. Hey there, Facebook. Good morning. Good Friday morning. I'm Power of 5 meteorologist Trent Magill, and we're talking about ice. We're talking about snow. We're talking about a couple snowflakes, but mainly just ice as you head out the door this morning. If you are heading out the door this morning, be extremely careful. For right now in Cleveland, you're good, but once you get off into, down 71, you've got some icy roads. The winter weather advisory is in effect until 1 o'clock. And I know the counties right along the lakeshore are not included in that, but you're still going to see some ice and you're still going to see some slippery streets. We don't need to issue the advisories. We can just show them. But what we can't issue is our forecast. And this is why we're talking about, is why I'm actually doing a Facebook Live right here, is because of what we have going on. Check this out. This is our setup for essentially the rest of the morning. We've got this layer, this warm layer across the midsection of our atmosphere. Up into the clouds, it's freezing. There's snow. That snow falls into the warm air and it melts, so the snow turns to rain. It'd be fine if our ground temperatures, if our air temperatures right here at the surface were above freezing. It would all be rain. Wouldn't have any concerns, but it would be heavy rain at times. But it would be rain, not ice. Problem is, we've got temperatures at or below 32 degrees, so about 27 to 32 degrees. So that's our concern. That rain is falling into that cold air and either freezing or it's not freezing until it hits the surface. Either way, you've got ground temperatures in the lower and middle 30s and you got air temperatures in the low 30s. So we've got some ice. We've got that potential out there. Still dry here in Cleveland. Downtown, you're still dry, still no concerns. 30 degrees. It's cloudy for sure, but notice that 30 is up from where it was earlier this morning. That's good news. Let's go to show you a couple of the temperatures on here. 29 Ashtabula, 30 in Worcester, 32 in New Philly. That's great news. We're starting to see our southern counties warming up a little bit, warming up to 32, which is great. I think once we hit about 32 or 33, that's when we'll start to get in on. Mute that. I think that's when we'll get in on main rain. Mainly rain. So I've got the comments, I've got the Facebook Live pulled up over here. Got a couple hundred people watching in here. If you want to know your timing and everything, well, let me know, where you're from and, where you are, what you want to know, and we'll try to answer that for you right here. I want to show you some more temperatures first, and then we'll get into the forecast. Where's it at here? All right, so here is what we're talking about. 30, just about everywhere. That's good news. That's up a degree. So every degree counts. It matters when it gets like this. 39 or 29 in Norwalk, 30 Ashland, Mansfield, Worcester, 29 right now in Millersburg. And the reason it counts, let me show you what we have. Let's go to our radar. Here we are. You can see it trying to roll on in here. This is our setup. Let me put this in motion so we can see the direction from it. All of this, there we go. See how it's moving slowly off towards the northeast? As it fills in, it's going to be more and more of a concern, especially once it gets up into this air that hasn't been touched quite yet. The good news is we've got this east breeze. Eventually, it's going to be more of a southeast breeze. So east winds and southeast winds helping us warm back up. So we should eventually make it back into the upper 30s. But for now, we're in the upper 20s and low 30s. So let me show you the future cast here. Show you where we are. Doing a pretty good job at timing with all of it, but it's not doing a great job with the colors. So take that with a grain of salt, essentially. Don't take that as for certain, because it's not going to be raining at 30 degrees. You see Sandusky's 31, 31, 31 for Fremont, Norwalk, Sandusky, and Ashland. That's at 9 o'clock. So is where we are right now. It's pretty close in temperatures, but if that rain hits the ground or hits things that are freezing, mainly bridges and overpasses, you're going to get some slick spots, so be extremely careful. Shows all rain through New Philly, Millersburg, Worcester, Norwalk, Sandusky by 10 o'clock. So over the next hour, making its way up towards, Elyria, Medina, and Akron line. And then beyond that, again, remember, those temperatures at 32 degrees, that means the surface will be a little bit warmer, but those bridges, porches, hand railings, driving around your windshield wipers are going to get a little icy, so just be careful. There's 11 o'clock. You notice that jump in temperatures? That's going to be crucial. Numbers jumping up every hour by a degree or so each hour really helps change this back over to all rain. What's happening is that warm layer that we have, it's there, but you've got that thin cold layer at the surface. As our temperatures from the surface warm, that's actually expanding that warm layer, so it's reaching all the way to the ground. So that's good news. More warm air means, those snowflakes melt a little longer time to melt, and they have less time to freeze as they fall into the cold air. By 11, we'll go to 12. There's 12 o'clock, 35s, 36s, 37s. That's all liquid. That's all rain. That's all good stuff. Fremont, Sandusky, Norwalk still closer to freezing, so we got to be very careful with that. But I still think most spots by noon are all rain. No ice messing around with any of the streets. But from now until noon, you really got to be concerned. That's why those winter weather advisories are in effect. Check this out. Here's 3 o'clock today. Notice there's some heavy rain. I'm going to zoom out just a little bit. Notice that the heavy rain with this. There's going to be some waves and some bursts of some pretty good downpours. So even after we get through this ice this morning, you're going to have that heavy rain. Heavy rain on its own like this probably wouldn't cause flooding, but because our ground is already soaked, we have snow melt. We have already some flood warnings for, actually they just issued flood advisories for Trumbull County. Now that is let me scroll back up. I want to get the Eagle Creek, essentially. That's the big concern with that, but it looks like that's going down. But our creeks and our rivers are already pretty high, so any extra rain doesn't help. Take it through the afternoon, all rain, except for maybe near Toledo. The closer you are to Toledo may still be some ice, and any ice is bad ice. It doesn't matter how thick it is. It's still going to be pretty rough. There's 5 o'clock. The main stuff gets out of here. Still going to have some downpours overnight, but look at those temperatures. 8 o'clock, upper 40s. Like that's some pretty warm air. That's going to be some pretty wet air also. So we're probably going to have some downpours, maybe a couple gusty winds with that also. I do think we make it back to almost 50 tonight, almost 50 degrees by essentially just after midnight, and then we drop into the 30s through Saturday afternoon, but we're dry for that. So that's essentially our forecast. That's what we have going on. We've got this ice this morning, transitions over through midday, back over to mainly rain, and then we get in on some heavy rain and some gusty winds for the afternoon. So our focus is going from icy streets to flooded streets possibly. So we got to be extremely careful as the day goes on. I'm going to pull up your 7-day just to give you a quick little kind of recap on our forecast. Here is let me do that. All right, here's our full 7-day forecast. We've got that ice to rain mix today, ice transitioning to rain. And then tomorrow we're dry. We go from 48 early in the day. You see that's essentially our concern is the 48 dropping to 37. I still think we're dry. Not really concerned about Saturday. Saturday's going to be pretty good. Just getting colder as the day goes on. Cold enough to start off our Sunday with snowflakes. Snowflakes, back to rain, and then back to snow once we get into late Sunday. So for the Browns game, 1 o'clock kickoff, I do think that's mainly rain, but May see a couple snowflakes. It's still going to be cold, pretty raw feeling Sunday. Shouldn't be as much wind. It shouldn't be super windy, so that might play a factor into our into the football game. Lake effect early Monday. Will be a bit breezy early Monday, and then we dry out with another clipper on Tuesday. We got another shot at light rain and snow, another mix possible, and then Wednesday we'll finally see that sun again. So all right, there we go. Let's get back to. I'm going to scroll through. I'm going to scroll through some of the comments here. Hopefully I answered most of your questions if you were watching there. Menor to Strongsville. Can I leave now? Yeah, leave now. It's not in Strongsville yet. Scott's going from Menor to Strongsville. You're good for now. I wouldn't, wait until 1 o'clock for that. I would, depending on how long you're going to be there, I would wait to leave maybe, let those temperatures warm up. But I think by midday, that drive from Strongsville back to Menor should be okay. Navarre, Massillon, even Dalton could go into that as well. You're still talking about ice right now. Actually, let me know what you're seeing. Laurie Hall in Dalton. Let me know if that's actually freezing once it hits things, or if it's just straight up sleet right now, because it very well may be. Temperatures are at 32. I don't know if that's enough cold air or cold enough to freeze those raindrops automatically, but it's possible. It's possible. So you may have sleet right now in Dalton. Temperatures warm up quickly by 10 or 11 o'clock, or really 11 or 12. I think Dalton's good. Around noon and back to Cuyahoga Falls. Kim, Cuyahoga Falls by 4. You're good this afternoon. Be careful closer to Lorain County along the turnpike through lunchtime. You're still going to have that shot. I'm going to scroll down here and see if we got a reply from Laurie. All right. Nope, not yet. Anyway, again, if you're in these areas from essentially stretching from Toledo through New Philly, if you're in this area, I want to know what you're seeing, especially this darker area, right here. That's hitting the ground. I mean, that's not a lot of it out ahead of it was evaporating. All this, I think, is probably evaporating. But a lot of the stuff is stretching, through Richland and Ashland County is probably hitting the ground. So maybe hitting the ground as sleet or rain and then freezing. So freezing rain. So be careful. And I want to know what you're seeing. If you're out there, I want to go ahead and put some comments on there and let me know what you've got. Karen's headed to the airport today around 5. You're fine. It's just rain, heavy rain. Maybe by then some flooded roads. So be careful with that. Connie and Massillon. Good morning. Nothing in Strasburg, Sean. So that's good news. Nothing yet. That'll probably pick up and change over the next couple of minutes, though. Nothing in Canton yet. No, not yet. Probably 10, 15, 20 minutes, you'll start to see either some sleet or just good old-fashioned rain. Berlin is rain for now. Good. That's good news. That means this is probably going to be mainly rain, and then on bridges and overpasses, things that are elevated, hand railings, stuff like that, those might freeze. Just got a report of sleet in Berlin, though. So there you go. There's that mix. That's that back and forth. That's why we were talking about sleet and freezing rain, and maybe just a couple snowflakes mixing in also. Should be mainly sleet and freezing rain, though, for us here. Looking at a couple more reports here. All right, so I'm going to run through the timing with this one more time, and then we're going to, once this posts, it'll give everybody a chance to, rewind it and watch it, so that'll kind of spread out the information a little bit more. So this is going to be posted on news5cleveland.com. It's also on, Facebook, and we're going to share it just about everywhere. Amy and Ashtabula, Let's get to it. Let's get to the timing for all this. I'm going to walk you through it slowly. Big recap. Temperatures right now near 30 degrees, which is cold enough to refreeze any rain that is falling. So if you've got elevated surfaces, bridges, overpasses, that's mainly what I'm talking about. That's where you're going to have that concern. And try hard not to pay too much attention to the precip type there, whether it's pink or green. Pay attention to the number, the temperature there, because a lot of this is still going to be liquid. There's a very deep warm layer that's really going to keep a lot of this on the liquid side. So let's go to 10 o'clock. There's that rain already making its way closer to Cleveland, and it will likely be at 33, 32. That'll likely be some freezing rain because everything elevated, those bridges and overpasses are still going to be, still going to have frozen surfaces. So it's rolling into, Elyria, Akron, Canton by 10 o'clock. So that's in about 45 minutes here. We'll go to 11, pushing up into Lake and Geauga, approaching Ashtabula County. Should be there by around 12 o'clock. But notice by then, Ashtabula, Mentor, Cleveland, you're 35, 36 degrees. That's all rain. There's no worries. 37 Millersburg, 39 in New Philly. You still have some concerns for, the islands, Sandusky, Fremont, where you're closer to freezing. And that's going to be that way into the afternoon, but I really think a lot of this by lunchtime is all rain and then heavy rain. So you've got that shot at flooding on the back side of this afternoon. So just be careful, be extremely careful, take it easy outside, and, try to enjoy your New Year's. And if you're looking for something to do, we got football today. Big games, big games. So, all right, I'm going to wrap this up. We're going to post this so everybody can see it, and just try to stay warm today. Try to stay safe. Be careful. Again, four-wheel drive doesn't help you stop. Doesn't help you stop at all. It barely helps you go when you're on ice. So just be careful today.